Danson and Jim Jonas with another episode of Veterans in Politics. Today we have two special guests. We have Lou Salazar, compliance officer for the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters, Local 525. And then, half past the hour, we're going to have Richard Churchio, councilman for North Las Vegas City Council, Ward 4. And let me remind folks, he's our endorsement winner for that seat for Veterans in Politics. Jim Jonas, how are you?
Good, Steve. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Turn your mic on, Jim Jonas. Let me do that again. Cut. Take. Jim Jonas have a mic problem, folks. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Here we go. Irma's fixing Jim Jonas' mic. Yeah. I can't talk without Jim Jonas without a mic. Jim Jonas!
Hey, Steve. How's it going?
Good. Hey, any rants today?
No, not really.
Nothing about Libya, nothing about Egypt, nothing about Japan. I mean, everything's going on. Nothing about Wisconsin. Nothing about Ensign decided he wasn't going to, he's not running for the U.S. Senate. Nothing about nothing.
Well, Ensign doesn't surprise me. The Wisconsin thing, that's why we have Lou here, because I want to talk to him a little bit about union issues. And then, as far as Japan, I feel sorry for him. I
think Hawaii got hit too, didn't they?
Yeah, Hawaii got hit, which was kind of interesting. I guess now you say I didn't. I say I didn't have a rant. I always have something.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting that one of the things they pointed out was one of the things that they want to cut in the budget is funding for Hawaii's tsunami early protection system is one of the things that went, and now all of a sudden Hawaii gets hit by a tsunami. So that's it's a little bit of irony for you.
That is a big time irony. They want to cut the budget and they get hit by a tsunami.
Yeah. And then as far as Libya goes, some good news on that.
Gaddafi pulled out?
Well, no, actually, what's happening with him is actually his forces are getting stronger. But the nice part about it is the Arab League has said they will support a no-fly zone over Libya. And we sent 2 warships and a submarine into the Med.
Yeah, I just want to do a shout-out to Assemblyman John Hambrick. He had some health issues, and I just wanted to let him know and his constituency know that the Veterans in Politics is keeping him in our prayers and hope he receives a speedy recovery. Did you know about John?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he had a medical issue that I don't know if I can say exactly what it is,
right,
but
probably.
I'll just leave it at medical issue. And he in Carson City, and he's recovering from that.
Have you talked to Nancy?
No. I did leave a message though, and I'm sure she'll be getting back with me soon.
Yeah, no, I didn't hear anything about John, so he's definitely in my prayers as well.
Yeah,
and John's a good guy.
Any more?
No, I'm ready to go. We got 2 guests in the studio. It took their time to come down here and talk with us, so I got plenty of questions.
All right, well, let's talk to Lou. Lou, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing okay.
Lou, you're the compliance officer for Plumbers and Pipe Fitters, Local 525. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, I'm a Vietnam veteran. I'm going to be 60 years old come this April 4th.
What branch of service did you serve with?
I was in the Marine Corps. I don't think there's another one, is there?
Yeah, Semper Fi, baby. I love a good devil dog, in the studio.
Leatherneck, yeah. Anyway, so, come up through UCLA and went into construction, figure that one out. But anyway, I'm been a member of the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local 525 here in Las Vegas for the last 16 years. Been out on the field for 10 and in the office for 5. We built every hotel you could think of down here on the Strip and remodel and stuff. So as far as compliance goes, what we normally do is we keep an eye on jobs that have the prevailing wage or Davis-Bacon Act on some of these jobs where there's a package that's put together by the state as to what you're allowed to pay a worker for his line of work, and they classify you as that. A plumber gets so much, sheet metal guy, air conditioning guy, bricklayer, and so on and so forth, depending on the trade. My job as compliance officer is I sort of check, make sure that everybody's balanced, everybody gets what they're supposed to get paid, and I move on. But we still have a lot of jobs out there where contractors will put in a low bid, get the job, and the only way they can make ends meet is by making cuts on your pay or benefits, and that's how workers get cheated. And that's where I come in. I do check certified payroll that's supposed to be turned in weekly by the contractor, see how many guys are on the job, making sure that the balance is there, making sure that everybody who did place an honest bid is everybody's in compliance, whether it's union or non-union. You know, you do have to be in compliance with whatever the federal or the county or the city work puts out the pay schedule.
Well, let me ask you a two-part question. What's the purpose of unions, and why do you think the Republican platform is against unions?
Well, you know, you have to base when you give somebody a label as union or non-union, and you have to be you have to figure it out this way. It's you want to do a fair day's work for a fair day's pay, and you have to be in line with whatever the economy is. For example, minimum wage. Minimum wage, you get paid. I'm just going to throw a number out there because I don't know exactly what it is. Say it's $6 an hour. Well, minimum wage stays at $6 an hour for the last 10 years. Nobody gets a raise.
That means cost of living is still the same, right?
No, cost of living goes up. Gasoline goes up. Utilities goes up. But your rate stays the same. It's always $6. It'll always be $6. And they can ask you to work 60 hours at $6 an hour. Well,
no overtime, time and a half.
Oh, come on.
No.
Not on. So now when the unions come in, the unions sit back and say, "Here, we're gonna lay out a work schedule, and this is the how we're gonna work it out. After 40 hours, then you go into if you go over 40 hours, you get paid a time and a half. In our union, after 8 hours, you go for time and a half. After 12 hours, you go on double time. If you work Saturdays, it's time and a half. If you work Sundays, it's double time." And they set a scale, and they set it on performance, and they set it on. Actually, they don't allow you to work too many hours, because then if you work a guy more than 12 hours a day, you're not going to get the same production out of the guy. He's too tired. So you have to set more rules as to why you're not going to work them.
That's like me right now.
Yeah, if you work too many hours that day, you're no longer functioning. So they cut you back. You cannot work. And if you there has to be a shift work and a shift pay, and so on. And they set standards.
Right.
What's going to be normal for the man to be productive.
Okay.
And so nobody goes out and bids a job. I mean, in their right mind, nobody goes out and bids a job and has overtime on it, because you're putting too much money out there.
Okay.
So when you look at a job, you're basing that job on 40 hours a week per man. And then that's where the weekend comes in.
So basically, unions make sure that the union members get paid for the job that they perform.
Correctly.
Basically. So what do you think the Republican platform is against something like that?
Well, again, once you take the voice away from the people, you will no longer have a combative force. If you take away their wage, if you take away their time off, if you take away their voice, you will have a more control of person. When you take away their bargaining power, then there's no longer a person that can actually come in and speak on your behalf. For example, a worker will come and speak to me and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm getting treated unfairly on the job," and then I go out there as a neutral party and I speak with the contractor and said, "Hey, what's going on with this guy? What's going on with your guy? This is what's going on with my guy. How can we make it work? How can we bring peace to the job?"
Right.
This is where we come in. You always have somebody to go to when you don't want to directly lock horns with the man.
Right.
And
you're like an arbitrator.
There you go. And but something, you have to really sit on the fence. You really have to be on the side of the contractor, and you have to be on the side of the worker, and you have to make both parties understand that this has to work. Okay. In order to be productive.
Hey, Lou, let me stop you right there, and I'm going to ask this question because I see Jim Jonas is really eager to jump into the conversation. But we talked briefly about the Veterans Clinic, and you brought up, let's call it a malfeasance or an injustice or whatever you want to call it, about what's going on with the Veterans Clinics here in town. You want to fill us in on that?
There's 4 VA clinics being built here in Las Vegas. I did a little research on as to how they got to be built, why they chose these locations, and why they chose these certain contractors, and so on and so forth.
Did your guys build it?
No.
Okay.
First of all, when you say it's a veterans clinic, it's what it is just a clinic. It's going to be for veterans. But when they built it, it just has the name as VA on it.
And could you give us the location of the 4 clinics you're talking about?
Okay, one of them is on being built on Boulder Highway and College in Henderson. One is being built on Alexander and Rancho on the north side. One is on Rainbow, and it skips. The locations.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, but
and the 4th.
It's also on the northwest.
Okay.
2 on the northwest, 1 on the north side, and 1 in Henderson.
Okay.
And these clinics, 2 of them are being built by an out-of-state contractor, which is Westpac.
Well, why is that? How come they don't hire from within?
See, the VA doesn't award contracts to
the state that they're building the.
No, yeah. What they do, how they award their contracts is not. They don't even give it to the lowest bidder. They give it to the responsible bidder that has done work for them in the past, no matter what state they're from. So let's say, for example, that you.
So it's basically favoritism, you think?
Yes.
Okay.
If you have a company, say in Arizona, Utah, somewhere, and the company built one of these clinics in Arizona, and they brought it in on time, thus, not giving anybody a break over here in Las Vegas. 17 bidders went in, and what they do is they say, 17 bidders came in, but this one guy, he did his right, and his number looks okay. He's not low, he's not high. And so we're going to give it to him. And so he's an out-of-state contractor, and he brings in out-of-state workers because those are his guys. And
well, why not, if they're going to give it to an out-of-state contractor, why don't they tell the out-of-state contractor one of the provisions is that you have to hire within the state that you're building the hospital or the clinic in or whatever the project might be?
because he'll go and say, well, I can do that, but I'm not going to guarantee you the speediness that's my guys are used to. I'm not going to know how these local guys work and stuff. Right. And if you ask him, well, how many veterans are you going to hire to do this job? He goes, well, that's just it. I only have one veteran, and
so they're building a veteran hospital, but yet they won't hire veterans to help them build it.
Right.
That's pretty ironic, isn't it?
Well, you could go to a company and say, listen, you're going to build me this hospital, and I'd like to have 50% veterans and 50% your crew. Put this thing together because it is for the veterans and it is for our and make sure that the veterans are out of Las Vegas, and then you're kind of staying in tune with what's going on. I mentioned to that we have over 50% unemployment in construction work here in Las Vegas.
That's huge. That
is massive. You always hear these numbers like, Las Vegas has, Nevada has 13% unemployment. But nobody fails to mention that, by the way, 50% of it is unemployment in Las Vegas in construction alone. And if you look at the construction numbers, our local has over 2,300 members. The Carpenters has over, 8,000 or 9,000 guys, and the laborers have another 3,000 guys. And wherever you're talking about in numbers, you cut that number in half, and that's how many guys are out of work, And it's not out of work in the last month or two. We're already going into a year and a half on this unemployment.
You also was talking to me about some kind of like payback. They lease the land to give it back, or something like that.
One of the things that we're fighting here in Las Vegas is what we call a leaseback project.
Sounds like a kickback.
Well, yeah, but what it normally is a contractor, or let's say, for example, a developer will buy the land, and then he'll develop this. He'll have this building put in it. We'll call it the VA clinic. And then what he does is he leases it back to the government. For what amount, I don't know. I couldn't find that out. It's a 20-year lease. I know that much. And then when it's being built by private money, the private money doesn't necessarily have to be prevailing wage. So he could be paying plumbers, for example, say $12 an hour. But it's my thought on this that he probably leases it back at whatever the prevailing wage would be. Right. How else is he going to make money? Because he's certainly not going to lease it back paying the workers at $12 an hour and make by the way, I built it real cheap, so I'm going to lease it back to you as cheap as I built it.
So as a compliance officer for plumbers and pipe fitters, Local 525, how come you don't protest the hiring of out-of-state contractors when we are a state that has one of the highest unemployment in the nation?
Well, see, and here's the funny part about it, because we look at all our the mayor, the city council, and the representative and the senators and whoever digs the first shovel, and they have the groundbreaking. Everybody takes a real pretty picture, and when they're taking the picture for the groundbreaking, all the city officials, not a single one of them mentioned, oh, by the way, we're 50% unemployment in construction, and yet this building is going to be built by a private money at very low wages. Why is that? Nobody answers that. Now, these are the people that we elect and put into office. And then when you call up and you ask them, hey, Senator Reed, why is it that you got 4 clinics for the Veterans Hospital, VA, are being built, and yet not a single one is going it's all private money being built with a lease back. Nobody knows any information about this. Nobody raises a red flag somewhere.
Well, Lou, you could probably do something about that, though, because the unions are very big supporters of Reed, and I'm assuming that some kind of campaign contributions go to Reed out of the dues that your members pay. So couldn't you basically say, hey, we're not going to support you in the next election if this continues?
Well, it's you hear all these promises being given, and how we're going to help you if you show me support, and why go to the next guy when I happen to be the guy, and then you get something like this, but we're having a lot of problems with trying to get the work at the VA hospital that's in North Las Vegas, which is off of Losi and the 215.
I thought it was Pecos and the 215.
Pecos and the 215
north,
out there.
North.
Why?
They're two 215. Because people get it all confused because the Beltway runs from north to south. So I usually say
the north. Is it the north
215 in Pecos? Yeah.
In Pecos, down there by in North Las Vegas.
North Las Vegas. But you know something, Louis. Well, one thing that I maybe not too much agreeing with. I could understand the unions and how they operate with as far as fair work and making sure people get fair pay for the job that they do, and people don't get fired unnecessarily. But one thing that bothers me is when the union give campaign contributions to a particular candidate through their union dues, when everybody, maybe some people don't like that candidate, and they feel that their monies are going to support a candidate that they really are not going to vote for. How do you feel about that?
Well, first of all, whenever we would make a campaign contribution, we look for labor. We don't really look for the labor help. We don't really look for the Republican or the Democrat. We've supported Republicans.
And when you say labor help, exactly what do you mean by that?
Well, we're looking for somebody that can help us in getting work.
Right.
We're looking for somebody that can help us in.
Who are you supporting for mayor?
Who am I supporting for mayor?
Who's a 525 supporting for mayor?
Everybody sits back and says.
Because apparently, I heard all the endorsement organization that do endorsements are staying out of that race.
Well,
it's 525 is the one of the bold ones that say, you know what, we're gonna endorse somebody.
We're gonna endorse somebody. I wish that I would come in here with the voice of endorsement for the mayor, but I don't. Everybody wants to wait and see what the
primary has to
offer.
Isn't that chicken though?
Yeah.
I mean, when the veterans of politics said that they're going to stay out of the mayor's race, one of our members goes, "That's chicken shit."
Yeah. Well, first of all, you have to narrow it down. Jesus Christ, there's 18 guys running out there.
Yeah. 18 guys, and you have three elected officials and one wife of an elected official,
Somebody's sister, and
somebody's sister. My grandma's in there.
I think there's a bartender running.
There's a Marine in there running, but I was a little bit embarrassed to say that he was a Marine. Larry Japison. You know who I'm talking about? He's a Marine. He's a Marine in there running, and he was at their endorsement interviews at the city council chambers, and he was wearing a fire hat with the money dangling off the fire hat. But it wasn't so much that as it was about how he presented himself. It just, when I found out what era he came from, and no disrespect to the Vietnam vets, because I have a lot of respect for Vietnam vets, and I think that the Vietnam War was one of the most horrific wars that were faced in our lifetime here.
And because I'm one, and you don't want me to go crazy.
Yeah, I don't want you to go crazy and and come attack me with your bayonet or something. But he was a little bit out there, in my opinion. And I'm not going to talk for the organization. I'm just going to say my opinion. And as a Marine, he was a little bit out there.
He's out there.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Well, you know,
Some people say I'm out there, but
no, but you know, it's funny that you'd say about you know, donations and how we do the political contributions. Here you have the 4 top candidates out there speaking out right now, and they're all promising work as soon as they get elected.
Yep.
so is Anthony Warnicki, the little guy, but he's unemployed, so I don't know how he's promising work if he can't find a job for himself. But that's another story.
Hey, Lou, Lou, one second. I do have to get just this one question in for sure. Are you aware of Nevada overtime law?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted, because before you said minimum wage and then employers wouldn't pay overtime. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't violators out there, but the company I work for, an individual cannot work more than 8 hours in a 24-hour day without receiving overtime. And
that's probably one of the few, because there is some that say we will only give you overtime
if it's over 40.
After 40 hours.
Yeah.
And here's the kick. They might not ever give you 40 hours. They might give you 32 hours, so they won't pay you insurance on top of that.
Oh, yeah, I know, because I used to work for a union. I was in a union. I was in UFCW, Local 711.
I was in a union too, 32J out of New York City.
When I worked for Vaughn's. And then when I left, so since I left Vaughn's, I haven't worked in a union, but the thing is that the argument against the union that's out there, it's kind of a generic argument, but it's, hey, the unions are forcing these companies to pay too high of a wage, so now the companies are having to cut back on the amount of people they hire. And so, in a way, the unions are actually doing a disservice to the worker, because now they're getting asked to do more with less. What would you say to an individual that stated that to you?
And when you say they're getting paid too much,
Well, that's what the employer says. That's
and when you're saying what is too much,
right.
If you cannot even meet your household money,
Right.
and you keep going to this job that keeps paying you $10 an hour, well, at $10 an hour
With no living increase, right?
with no living increase,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you cannot meet your monthly. I mean, you'll always be the behind guy.
Right.
You know, you need to have somebody set a pay scale that is equivalent to what you're going to be spending on a weekly on groceries, on gas, on utilities. And even if you take away all the extra added costs, your cable, your phone, your newspaper, and you still can't make it, then there's something wrong. And then if you go to your boss and you say, listen, I can't make it on what you're paying me, he'll turn around and say to you, well, listen, I got 20 other guys that'll take less than what I'm paying you.
Right.
And then you go, man, do I need somebody to come in here and speak on my behalf. And
A Smith & Wesson, Lou.
Now the one thing is,
It speaks high.
I do gotta say though, a lot of people feel that I'm very anti-union, but it's not that I'm anti-union. Actually, in the construction trade, I'm actually pretty pro-union, because there's so many safety issues and stuff that are involved in that.
Okay, and I understand that thing, but figure this one out and forget the construction work.
Okay.
Let's take a school teacher.
Right.
They make anywhere between 40 and maybe 50,000 a year. They take care of your kids for 8 hours.
Right.
Okay.
Well, let's not go 8 hours. About 6.
Well, listen.
A school teacher will work probably about 6 months out of the year.
Well, how about let's take the firefighters, since they've been in the news so much, with their sick pay. What's your take on that?
But the thing about, hold on, I was trying to get to a point.
I hear.
And then you hire a babysitter to take care of your kids, and you would probably pay more to the babysitter for those 2-3 hours than you would pay the school teacher for the 6 hours. And you expect a school teacher to not only teach your kid, take care of him, watch him, make sure he's safe, and make sure that he checks in and gets a lesson for the next day. And she has to go home and prep for hours to make sure that she's ready for the next day.
That's a parental issue as far as I'm concerned,
But
because
the thing
they shouldn't have to be babysitters.
But yet, if you look at her pay and you compare it to what you pay somebody else to take care of your kid when they're out of school, that's where you try to find out, where the union comes in and tries to make it fair.
Right. The thing I have with the school teacher, and that's a great argument. I'm for teachers making good money. They should. But sometimes the amount of actual money that they bring home is probably not up to where it should be. But their package, their pension package, compared to almost any other profession, is you can't compare it. I know teachers that have kids, and they don't pay $1 in hospital costs.
Okay.
So there's a lot of benefits to it.
I understand that, and we're probably running out of time. But let me make one point when we talk about packages and pensions and stuff like this. You take a look at a senior citizen right now today. Okay, I look at them every day because I do free plumbing for seniors, and when I walk into their mobile home, single wide, they're living on $600 to maybe $800 a month because the jobs that they had back then never provided for them to live maybe that long, or thought that. Do you think that $600 a month for you right now?
No.
And here's the deal: that if you're making $600 and your husband's making, for example, let's say another $600, you're making it on $1,200 a month. As soon as he dies, they cut her payment off because he's dead. I mean, you have to look at where the unions come in when we try to set a standard as to what lies ahead and make sure that you're going to be comfortable at some point in your retirement years.
Okay.
You need to look at something like that when we talk about pensions, and you said they have the best pension. They don't have the best pensions because they used to tell that to your grandmother.
Right.
Your grandmother's living on $600 now and not making it.
Well, I wasn't talking so much about pension with teachers. What I was talking about is their health benefits. Or through the roof compared to almost any other profession. Plus, they don't have to pay. They don't pay Social Security because they're county employees, and that money's going into a retirement fund.
When you take a look at somebody's package, when you take a look at somebody's pension plan, when you take a look at somebody's pay, you're taking a look at it, and you're making probably a judgment call on what you're looking at it today. Right. You need to take a look at it for the long run. Okay. Because a lot of this money that we have to pay right now on our taxes is to take care of the people that we didn't take care of along the way. So we are picking up a lot of that slack, and we need to stay on top of taking care of those that are not being taken care of, and that's why I fight a lot when we do compliance work. Just to get off the subject of that, is to where I want people from Las Vegas that are working, I want their companies to make sure they have insurance for them, because if they don't have insurance for them, then they come after the taxpayer to cover up their, and we have a lot of contractors that do not give their workers any type of insurance.
And then they end up at UMC, and the taxpayers got to pick up the bill. Yeah.
All right, Lou, thank you for your time. Thank you for coming on the program.
Hey, thank you for having me. I mean, I wish I had a lot more time. I've got a bag full of information, but
yeah, we could get you back on again. That was Lou. You have your contact information. People get a hold of you.
Well, my name is Lou Salazar, and I'm with the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters, Local 525. My phone number and that you can get a hold of me is my cell number. I'm available 7 days a week, 24 hours actually. I'm
3
always
o'clock
on
in the
call.
morning.
3 o'clock. Hey, you won't be the only one calling me. And my phone number is area code 702-994-2235.
Well, thank you, Lou.
And I want to just, before I sign off, I want to let everybody out there know that there is a program called Helmets to Hard Hats that we didn't get a chance to get in there, where we will take military men that are coming in and train them to come out and do get into not only the plumbers union, but there's the electrical, and there's other unions that takes them on. So that's another program we have.
Well, that's good to know. That's Lou Salazar, he's the compliance officer for Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local 525. Thank you for coming on once again, Lou.
Yeah, you got it.
This is Steve Sanson, Jim Jonas for Veterans in Politics. Don't go away, folks. We'll come back momentarily with Richard Churchio, councilman for North Las Vegas City Council, Ward number 4.
Americans have been fooled by politicians about illegal immigration. They make you think that if you bring up this topic, you are a racist. Did you know that America is the only country on this planet that does not enforce its federal immigration laws? For the fear of being called a racist. I am for legal immigration. I was born on the island of Jamaica, became an American citizen, served 12 years in the U.S. military, served in Desert Storm, and received a Presidential Unit Citation, National Defense Medal, and Marine Corps Commendation. Our immigration laws serve a purpose. I understand that this country was founded on immigration, but there is a wrong way and a right way. I'm here to tell you that illegal immigration is breaking our federal laws. Why don't you call me a racist? This is Steve Sanson.
What are you doing online?
I'm checking out the belly dance class we took last week.
Where's it at?
TakeBackYourBelly.com.
That's right.
We worked our arms.
We worked our abs.
We worked so hard
and had a blast. No matter what, your shape or size. Come belly dance, you'll be surprised.
For class schedule and location, log on to TakeBackYourBelly.com or call 219-3151.
Are you a business owner struggling during these economic times? Please listen up. How would you like to put your business and services in front of every resident and business in the Las Vegas Valley for less than a penny per home? Yes, that's right. I said less than 1 cent per home and business. And how would you like to have a dynamic and exciting online presence with the major search engines? How about an online video for your business and a fully optimized website with absolutely no setup fee? Hi, my name is George. If you are interested in these and other services that can make your phone ring with clients and prospects, then call me at 702-296-8394. Just call George at 702-296-8394. Thank you.
This public service announcement is brought to you by Veterans in Politics International. The Veterans in Politics mission is to teach, educate, organize, and awaken our veterans and their families to select, support, and vote intelligently for a better world and to protect ourselves from our own governments and a culture of corruption and to be the political voice for those in other groups that do not have one.
There are too many homeless veterans and more help is needed from the VA. Every veteran service organization post should adopt a local homeless veteran.
The funding of VA medical centers is inadequate, and building a VA hospital in southern Nevada is moving at a slow pace. The budget has been flatlined for too many years. The VA is too quick to deny claims and too slow to help veterans gather records in support of claims.
Local politicians ignore veterans and their issues. They perceive a lack of organization among their local veterans and that it won't hurt them at election time. Veterans too often vote party, not veteran issues. All veterans should vote in every election.
The news media give inadequate coverage to veteran issues and events. You must send letters to the editor and voice this concern.
Please contact your members of Congress and Senate and urge them to co-sponsor key legislation in supporting our veterans.
Please support Veterans in Politics. And to get more information, go to www.veteransinpolitics.com.
Well, we're back. Steve Sanson, Jim Jonas with Veterans in Politics. Before we start talking with our guest, Councilman Churchill, I just wanted to let everybody know that we did our 2 endorsement interviews. First one was last Thursday, City Council Chambers, and the second one was Saturday at the Marine Corps League. And I just want to name off our endorsement winners. For Las Vegas City Council Ward 1 is Councilwoman Lois Tarkanian. Las Vegas City Council Ward 3 is Bob Coffin. Las Vegas City Council Ward 5, Mr. Randy Voyard. Las Vegas Municipal Court Judge, Department 2, George Trapman. Las Vegas Municipal Court Judge, Department 3, Judge George Assad. Las Vegas Municipal Court Judge, Department 5, Judge Cedric Kearns. North Las Vegas Council Ward 2, Carl Gatson. North Las Vegas Council Ward 4, Councilman Richard Churchio. North Las Vegas Municipal Court Judge Department 1, Catherine Ramsey. Henderson City Council Ward 1, Thomas Wagner. Henderson City Council Ward 2, Councilwoman Deborah Marsh. Henderson City Council Ward 4, Mike Mayberry. Henderson Municipal Court Judge Department 3, Judge Diana Hampton. And Boulder City Council Member Roseanne Rabiola Meal. And I just want to let everybody know that we stayed out of the Las Vegas City Council mayor's race because there was too many good, outstanding talent in that race, and we didn't have a clear and precise candidate who we wanted to endorse. And for the Boulder City mayor's race, there was too many legal issues going on in that race, so we figured that we'll stay out of that race as well. With that said, let's go to Councilman Richard Churchill from North Las Vegas City Council Ward number 4 and the recipient of the Veterans in Politics endorsement. Councilman Churchill, how you doing this afternoon, actually?
I'm doing fine, Steve, and I appreciate the opportunity to come down here and speak.
Not a problem, sir. Could you give us tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, a little bit of a background. My wife and I moved over here in 2001 after I retired from being a 25-year letter carrier. During those 25 years, 23 of those years, I represented letter carriers. And when we moved over here, even though it was supposed to be my retirement after working all those years, I would say our personalities sometimes are our own worst enemies. And I felt an obligation to get involved with our city up there and started to organize different organizations up there, North Las Vegas Alliance of HOAs and concerned citizens, to have a little more of a direct contact with the city and what goes on around the surrounding communities there so we could have a say. And then I ran for council in 2007. Wasn't successful, but when Mayor Buck became Mayor Buck, there was a 2-year time span left in her tenure, so I was appointed to complete those 2 years, and now I'm running for my own 4 years up there in Ward 4.
When you ran for council, who did you run against?
I ran against Sherry Buck, and then we had 2 other opponents there, Deborah Lewis and I believe it was Joe Cato.
Okay. You know, one of the things that bugged the heck out of me about North Las Vegas is your gun law. Mm-hmm. And I know I voiced this several times. As a matter of fact, I was speaking to Catherine Ramsey about it, who's running for North Las Vegas judge, and we had what's that judge, Vandelslaw?
Van Lanschut?
Van Lanschut, yeah.
Van Lanschut, Judge Van Lanschut.
I'll also talk to him a little bit about it. Is that when you have a registered weapon and you have your blue card, and you cannot take your registered weapon in your vehicle in North Las Vegas like you can in the boundaries of Las Vegas, and I think that causes a big problem, because let's say that I live in the city of Las Vegas and I went to work and here I am and I don't have a concealed weapons permit, but I have my blue registration card and I have my weapon in my vehicle, which is my own personal and private entity, and I had no knowledge of going to North Las Vegas, but somebody needed a ride home, and I, not thinking about my weapon in my car, and he lives in North Las Vegas or she lives in North Las Vegas, and I drive to North Las Vegas, taking this individual home. I just broke the law because I have a weapon in my car. How can we just change that law and make it uniform with everybody else?
Well, you kind of posed that question to me as well a week or so ago. And I told you I would look into that. And, since then, I did have a conversation with our police chief, Joe Chronister, on that, because I also have a concealed weapons permit, and began looking into why North Las Vegas has one law that sometimes is opposite or much more stringent than another city, a sister city. I am looking into that. I would be more than happy to.
Criminals are not going to follow the law, right?
Well, the problems don't begin and end at a city border. I can't tell you how many times I've been riding around North Las Vegas, and originally was completely lost and didn't know whether I was in Vegas or North Las Vegas until I realized someone told me, well, North Las Vegas has blue street signs and Las Vegas has green street signs. So, I can't answer to why all of these things are the way they are currently, but I could tell you that issues like that concern me, and we want to do the right thing over there. So I'd be more than happy to look into that with you and then kind of report back.
Okay. Why do you think you drew two opponents?
Well, I haven't seen Miss Pitchford. I've only seen some signs out. She hasn't really attended any functions or debates or interviews. Mr. Wagner again seems to be a very nice gentleman. I know he's a dentist. He doesn't have any background with working with the city. He does have much more tenure than I do over here. I believe, I don't know if he's a native Nevadan, but that in and of itself, in my estimation, doesn't qualify you to be a qualified city council person. Before I got on council, before I had the privilege of being appointed, I was involved with the city. I was involved with our police department.
Was your appointment unanimous?
Yes, it was. I was assisting as a resident in rewriting some of those code enforcement codes to make them much more user-friendly with the neighborhoods and with the residents. So I did have kind of a cross-section of knowledge there. But I don't think you could ever come into any seat like a council and be entirely qualified. But you have to have, at least in my estimation, a prior desire to be involved.
So, Councilman, what's the number one issue facing North Las Vegas that you think needs to be addressed?
Well, in the short-term jobs, in the long-term jobs, that's very clear. I make an effort to get out there every day to walk as much as I can, trying to balance my job as a council person, which I just won't let fall to the side because of a campaign. But what I'm hearing from an awful lot of the residents, strangely enough, from a lot of the senior people, their concern is with education. Yeah. And that surprised me a little bit, only because they're seniors. But the more they explain it, they're concerned with the economy, what's going to happen to the state if we don't have educated people. And, of course, a lot of their grandchildren are going to school over here. But by and large, it is the fact that, we have so many foreclosures. People are out of work. A lot of our zip codes in our area, particularly my area up there, 89084, has been particularly hit hard. And then once you go ahead and have all of that coming together like a tsunami, right. Then that just creates. I know that. That creates other problems. That creates vandalism. That creates theft and everything that goes along.
What could you do as what role do you play as a councilman in being able to create jobs?
Well, as a council person, most people, and I have to tell you, be very candid because I'm not a politician, and what bothers me the most is that an awful lot of people look past council as a piece of glass, and they look towards the state and they look towards the national, and which is great. Those guys do and women do a great job. But on a day-to-day basis, in North Las Vegas, there are 5 people that pretty much, I wouldn't say the word would be control, but have an awful lot to do with your daily lives, and that's public safety, that's quality of life issues for your parks, that's the graffiti and all of that. What we could do as council is what the majority of council did a couple of meetings ago, and that was to take the monies that we have in redevelopment, $250,000 from our redevelopment fund, which that's what it's there for, and managed to get together another $250,000 with the cooperation and the consent of our police chief, and kind of invested it and kind of put some skin in the game to get outside countries, investors over here that have been trying to, as I understand, come to North Las Vegas because we have an awful lot of open land and want to do some good things. So we went ahead and we took that giant step. And we're in the process right now of contracting with Gensler to do a complete overlay of the city. And that's not just another survey. That's something that is going to be a presentation that's already been presented to many of the labor organizations. And I'm very happy to say that this past Wednesday, Gensler was nice enough to do a presentation to the North Las Vegas Chamber of Commerce, who I found out afterwards are actually going to be going to China to speak with these people and have an invitation to go there. So is this going to happen overnight to make all of these long-term jobs? Absolutely not. It's like a big ship. You could turn that wheel, but it's not going to turn around.
So, Councilman, does the city of North Las Vegas have a similar law that the city of Las Vegas, from what I understand, is supposed to follow, where if you get contractors from outside the state that come into North Las Vegas, that they have to hire individuals from North Las Vegas first before they bring their own people in?
No, to my knowledge, there is no law like that. The state controls that, and if I'm not mistaken, Councilwoman Wood and I were up in Carson City last week kind of speaking to a lot of our representatives that we know on the concerns, not only for North Las Vegas, but for the Valley, because, we're all sisters and brothers over here. Like I said before, the problems don't begin and end at a city border. But, they're working on a jobs bill up there that has cross-section support between business and labor. And personally speaking, I support the fact that we need to hire from within, not necessarily just the city, but from within the state. And to that degree, we could really work in concert. I don't believe that the different municipalities in the past, from my perception, really worked good together. But this current economy, the lemon that we were handed over here, I think it's an opportunity to kind of make lemonade and really have a better perspective on how we need to deal with one another, in the future for all our sake.
So, Councilman, in North Las Vegas, is it only the people that reside in Ward 4 can vote for you? Or is it like Henderson where you got to run citywide?
No, we have ward voting in North Las Vegas. I believe that came into play. Well, when I ran in 2007, we had it, so I'm sure that it was just before that. Okay. And I think that's much more fair and appropriate for anybody who's running.
Yeah, I brought that up because when you said you were walking, I know a lot of people, a lot of city councilmen that run for city council in Henderson can't walk because they're running citywide. It would be almost impossible.
Well, I have a pretty big ward over there, so I've gone through a pair and a half of shoes already.
Could you give the listeners the boundaries of that ward?
Ward 4 runs on the north end to Sheep Mountain, which would take in the Tule Springs Fossil Bed National Monument that we're hoping to get approved soon. To the south, to Cheyenne. To the west, Aliente Parkway, Simmons, where it turns into Aliente Parkway, and then kind of jogging nuts up to Horace Avenue, and then over west to Decatur. And then on the east side, I go as far as the Skyview Recreation Facility, which is on Stats. I don't go as far as the VA. That's on Pecos, but I come very close to it, right up to that.
That is
huge, isn't it?
That is a huge ward.
So whose ward is the Veteran Hospital?
That would be Ward 1, Councilman Robert Eliason.
Oh, okay.
But we shouldn't get hung up on wards versus city because we're elected by the people within our ward. We're a city council, a city manager council form of government, 5 of us there. Yeah. We all have 1/5 of a vote, but we all share 100% of the responsibility when it comes to making decisions, citywide. So we all have an equal say in what goes on there.
Or is anybody moving to put shopping centers around where they're putting that VA hospital?
I'm happy to say that the shopping center Regency that is on North 5th, the northern part of North 5th, we finally were able to work with the county and get some monies released, and that interchange is going in now where people could get onto North 5th going westward, where before they could only get on going eastward. And that's been causing a real problem up there because the businesses are just hanging in there. But once the VA goes in over there, we're looking at the UNLV campus, which would be on the northeast corner of Losee up there. And our vision, and it's a realistic vision, would be to have that area as medical research research development, a lot of green business up there, and that would be all part of that Gensler's overlay, where Capex, Apex area would be the industrial portion, and the more mature part of town would be the business center.
I hear you spoke about education earlier, and I know that I read that they're reorganizing 5 Clark County schools and having all the teachers administrator reapply for their jobs because they don't meet the federal guidelines for grants. And one of those schools is in North Las Vegas. I forgot exactly which one of the 5 is in
Elizondo?
The name escaped me. I remember Chaparral be one of them, and but I know one of them fall in the jurisdiction of North Las Vegas.
I think it might be talking about Mojave High School.
Oh, Mojave.
Probably
High.
Mojave.
That does fall.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that as an elected official?
Well,
and they're only hiring half of those people back, by the way.
Yeah, I have a concern about blanket policies. It's the old saying that one size doesn't fit all.
Right. Sorry for interrupting, Councilman,
no,
but do you think it's a good idea to because they chose the 5 lowest standard schools in the Clark County school system? Do you think that's like a wake up call for all the other schools and principals to make sure that they get their teachers
together
and students and make sure that everybody's learning, so to speak?
Well, I guess that should be the role of going to school, to learn. And if it accomplishes that in what's going on, sends that message out, I think that's a good thing. But I could tell you just by shadowing a lot of the principles that I do on the side, if you want to call it the side part of my job, I could see how overcrowded a lot of these schools are.
Right.
And, going way back when I went to school, when they had wooden floors and cabins, so to speak, you had a classroom. And I could tell you that some of these classrooms, awful lot of them, are overflowing into the hallways now. So I think before we start making maybe knee-jerk reaction decisions, we need to make sure that is the root of the problem. And if it definitely is the root of the problem, that somebody's not doing their job, then we need to act on it because, that's our future.
Councilman, could you give us your contact information?
Yes. My name is Richard Churchio, and I am Councilman Ward 4, North Las Vegas. I do have a website up, which is my name, all one word, richardchurchio.com. And my contact information's on there, including my...
Could you spell your name for the...
Yes.
listeners?
The last name is CHERCHIO. And everyone is welcome to go on that website. You'll get a kind of a Reader's Digest version of what I'm all about. But I'm available. My cell phone's on there, I believe. But if not, it's our area code 702-325-6708.
Well, Councilman, thank you for coming on the show.
No, thank you. And I once again, I want to say I appreciate your support and endorsement. I promise that I'll be there not once every 4 years. Okay?
Well, that's Councilman Richard Churchio, Councilman for North Las Vegas City Council Ward number 4, and a Veterans in Politics endorsement winners. And we encourage the membership of Veterans in Politics and all the constituency of Ward number 4 to go to the voting booth and vote for Councilman Richard Churchio for the next 4 years. This is Steve Sanson, Jim Jonas, in another episode of Veterans in Politics. Until next week.